Hello, in this tutorial I'm going to show how to make Tron style light trails. I'll be using 3D Studio, Photoshop and After Effects, but the principles would apply to any other 3D software you want to use. This is what the final rendered effect should look like, and this is how you make it. So the first thing you'll need to do is animate your vehicle. You can see here I'm using a helicopter and he's flying off and performing a barrel roll. And what we'll do is use the trajectory on this vehicle to extrude a path and then use that to make a surface for the light trail. So you can see the trajectory here. I'm going to need a couple of helper points to define the top and the bottom point of the trail. So go to create helper point and then align that point with your vehicle. Align the orientation as well. If it's animated on the first frame, like mine is, and then just move the points in their local space to line them up with the top and bottom of the back of the vehicle, where the jet trail, the light trail, is going to extrude from. And shift drag it to duplicate it. Now I've placed mine slightly above and below the tail because I want the light trail to extrude out slightly wider than the tail itself. So about there should be fine, and then link these to the vehicle. And now you'll see they follow as it goes. Let's get their trajectories for the points. So there's the top point, there's its trajectory, and the bottom point. Then you can convert these into splines using this Convert To button. The vehicle is going to turn on the animated trail at frame 30. You set the start time to 30. And then let's say the end of my animation is frame about here, 130, near the end of the loop. So the end time is 130. And the samples should be 1 per frame. So obviously I have 100 frames. If you use less samples, then the spline that you create won't line up exactly with the motion of your animation. So it's better to make sure you have exactly the right amount. So that's the bottom one. You go Convert To, and it makes a spline. And then the same thing for the top one, Convert To. So now I can turn off the trajectories, and you'll see the splines turn on at just the right position here, and they follow the vehicle all the way along, like this. I'm going to attach these two splines together and then convert them into a NURB surface. So just select one of these, go Convert To Editable Spline, and then attach it to the other one. So that's this one. And attach. Oh, there it is. Attach. So now they're one object. Now I'll convert it to a NURB surface. To NURBS. And once you do that, the NURBS control panel will come up, and you use this one, create a ruled surface. Just click on one and then click on the other, and it creates the shape. So let's have a look at the UVs. I'll make a checkered material. So let's make a new material over here, standard, and give it a diffuse checker. Okay, I'll just connect that to my shape. And let's take a look at the UVs. So I need more checkers in my material. Let's just modify this. Tile this a few more times. There we go. When I slide the UVs left and right, they scroll along the surface. So this is the sort of texture you'll need. It's a long, thin image. You can see this is 5000 by 200 pixels, and it's just blue in the color channel. If we look at the alpha channel, you'll see the left half of the image is completely transparent, and the right part of the image has the actual light trail. So if I zoom in on the middle, you can see this is the transition point. This is where the helicopter's tail will be, and the light trail will appear coming out of it and extrude backwards. And all we need to do is then animate the UVs to make this follow the helicopter. Just disconnect that. And find the bitmap. Okay. Shift click the diffuse and drag it into the opacity. Make a copy. And then turn this onto the alpha channel. And make sure this is visible in the viewport. Yeah. Yeah, there's the transition there. You can see when I slide this, I'll just zoom in on this so you can see it. See, when I slide these UVs, the opaque part of the light trail moves. So now you need to animate these UVs to get the trail to follow your vehicle. So let's zoom right out. Go to the first frame, which is frame 30, and slide the UVs over so that they correspond. So let's turn on keyframing with the N key and slide this over to, there's the beginning right there. So I'll zoom in on these UVs. Okay, and let's go forward 10 frames and then key the next piece. Now it looks like the upper and lower parts are reversed. The upper part should be further ahead, so I need to flip these UVs vertically. That's better. Okay, and then go forward 10 more frames and find out where the helicopter is and slide these over. And repeat this process all the way along. And you may need to go back and fill in the 5s. Let's go back to 45. You may need to make minor adjustments. Now there is one issue with this effect, which is if you render it with image-based motion blur, the transparent parts of the effect will blur the image. So here's a render of the trail and the helicopter, and you'll notice this area is very blurred. It should look like this, but the transparent part of the light trail is still receiving image-based motion blur. So you'll need to render your scene twice, once with the trail turned on, and then once with the trail turned off, and use an animated mask like this to mask off the blurred parts. So without this mask, the front of your image will be blurred. So here's the scene with the mask applied. And you'll see this yellow line is the animated mask, which masks off the blurry part of the front. And that gives you a good result. So I hope this was useful. Thanks for watching.